guys, what do you hear? What do you say? Dylan Ventura here, your local loan officer with Meadowbrook Financial out of Westbury, New York. Today I'd like to bring on to the show a very good friend of mine, Joseph Nicoletti from Douglas Elliman.
Dylan,
how you doing, Joe?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
I'm looking forward to today. And for those of you that don't know me, Joe Nicoletti, your go-to realtor in Long Island, the boroughs, whatever services you need regarding residential real estate. If you have questions regarding commercial, whatever it may be, I'm your go-to guy. And looking forward to tackle some topics today. You know, we got some good stuff ahead of us, so let's do it.
Yeah, well, we've been friends for 20 years, so
a lot to talk about.
A lot to talk about.
Let's do it.
So, Joe, when did you get into the real estate business?
Yeah, so I started about 3-4 years ago. I was an intern in college. I was like, let me just give it a try. I was in college making cold calls at a real estate office, not licensed. And I ended up actually, while I was there working, I was like, well, I'm here. Why not get my license? I was just like, why not? And that's how we started. And now we're 4 years later in the business. And that's it. How about you?
I started in 2020. I was doing something similar, making cold calls and working as a junior underneath someone. Then I got licensed and went out on my own. But I wanted to get into the business because my grandpa actually owned his own mortgage brokerage for like 30 years. And that was always something I was interested in.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know your grandfather was in the business.
I used to work for him when I was a little kid.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now we're here today working together. We just started, actually, we partnered in on some leads. We've had some business prior to where, you send me clients, I've sent you clients, and we've had happy clients and good turnouts, and it's been great.
Yeah, and that's why I send you clients, because I know when I send you a client, you're going to take care of them in the best way possible.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's always going to get done.
And vice versa. Whenever I need, because the first question I'm asking any buyer is, have you been pre-approved before? First thing, initially, they say yes, no. Once they say no, I'm calling you on the phone, and I know whenever I send you a client, you'll take care of that for me on that end. And then once they're pre-approved, you send them back my way, and you'll know that I'll be on the search of properties right away.
Yeah, of course, and that's the most important thing, because if they're not pre-approved, what's the point of looking at a house? You can't make an offer.
No, yeah, for sure. It just gives the buyers their buying power, knowing the numbers, the financials, because if you haven't spoke to a loan officer before and you're curious about getting into the market, just pick a loan officer's brain. Just have that conversation. You collect all the documents that they need. These are the numbers based on whatever it is. And if it's your motive to buy, you're going to buy. If the numbers make sense, you're going to buy regardless of what's happening in the market, right?
Yeah, exactly. And, it's a quick process. So it takes like a quick 20, 30-minute phone call. They send me their documents, could get them a pre-approval in the same day.
That's freaking 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Every buyer should just be on the phone with you, or if they're thinking about doing it, even in a year, 2 years from now, plan ahead, because you'd rather be ahead of the game than that time comes, I want to buy today. But if you were in touch with a loan officer, a realtor like myself, you already have the game, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because even if you're not buying now, then you know what you're pre-approved for and what you could save up for. Or if you want to be pre-approved for more, you know how much more you need to make to get to that number.
Totally, and maybe even wipe away some, like you said, say sometimes some debts that it would have to go away. Whatever it is, we narrow it down, and then on my side of the game, I find out what areas of interest fit you best. What kind of property you want. Do you want to maybe purchase a condo, a co-op, something a little bit smaller? Do you want to buy, a full house, your first initial purchase? How many bedrooms, bathrooms, towns? That's where I come into play. I narrowed down the search, which is very important to be on top of the market.
Yeah, especially in New York and Long Island especially, the market's really competitive right now.
And if you went through the process of getting pre-approved, you spoke with me for your initial consultation to find what property you want. Now you have the pre-approval. A property comes on the market in the area that you like. Now you could technically jump on it. If you didn't go about taking those steps, then you're out of luck.
I think the main mistake people are making right now is saying, oh, well, I'm going to wait until rates come down to get pre-approved or to buy a house. But that's what 20,000 other people are doing. So when rates come down, it's just going to be a crazy bidding war to get that house, Everyone has the same thought process right now, but if they got pre-approved now and bought now, they could always refi when rates come down.
Very good point.
They always say, date the rate, marry the house. Could always get rid of that rate.
That's why it gets back to just their motive in general. If your motive and your situation is to buy, you go through the pre-approval process. You speak with a realtor like myself. We see what kind of property that you're looking for, and then you're ready to go. You don't want the market to dictate that. You want to just know the numbers, know what style property you want, and the rest is history. Let us handle it. So what are some programs that are offered to first-time homebuyers?
So they could actually put down 3.5% down with FHA, which is really ideal. Small down payment, even on Long Island, it's still usually under $20,000. And sometimes they also offer credits for first-time homebuyers as well to help them with closing costs.
Oh, wow. So you could put down as little as 3.5%, and there's even some potential credits that they could put towards closing for a first-time homebuyer.
Yeah, it's a good deal.
So if you are a first-time homebuyer audience, reach out to him, reach out to Dylan. We'll get you pre-approved, 3.5% down. So what are some things you do on a given day? Some like daily hobbies you like to do?
Yeah, well, first thing that comes to mind is I'm a huge sports fan. As you can see by my case, I'm a huge New York Rangers fan.
Okay.
Love their New York Rangers, New York Giants, New York Yankees, Juventus for soccer. Love sports, also love music. I'm actually a Deadhead. I go to like 10 Grateful Dead concerts a year.
You got the tattoo, I know.
Yeah, I can't show that right now. But
no, that's cool.
What about you?
So hobbies I like to do, I like to work out. I like to play golf. We have a little story we'll get back to in regards to that. What else? I like to read a bit. Of course, work life, friends, family, very important. Smoking cigars from time to time. And getting back to that story, we had a little incident on the golf course. We were driving down a hill.
Oh, yeah, that was at Casino.
Yeah, sadly, me and Dylan were in a golf cart together, and we got into an accident. Almost died, but it's all good. It's all good.
Like 5 years ago. So
yeah, 5 years ago.
Tell the story.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, crazy stuff.
We went up a hill and the golf cart tipped over, and all the weight went on your shoulder.
On my shoulder, I'm lucky I didn't hit my head and die. But now we're 5 years later, still doing business together. We grew up together. We went to preschool together.
Yeah, high
school, stayed in touch throughout college, and now look at us. We're helping people achieve their real estate goals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We even worked at 388 together.
Another restaurant we worked at together. Yeah. Our journey it's coming along nice. It's coming along nice. You just got engaged.
Yeah.
Big stuff.
Yeah.
Love that.
Getting married in 2026. I got my ring now, though.
Okay. Starting early.
Yeah. Well, if you got a ring, I figured,
why not? No, that's good. Some of our clients that we worked with in the past have been they've just been, all the reviews we've got have been, people have really liked our service. What we do for them, just tag along a little bit with that, what we do for them, you know what I mean?
Well, I think the main thing that our clients love, because we both offer this, is that, we're not like bankers. We don't have banker hours. We're not working from 9 to 5. Mm-hmm. If someone calls me at 8 o'clock on a Sunday or 5 o'clock on a Saturday, like, I'm answering that call, and so are you. And they like that we're always available, and, even if they're not looking at the moment, if they call us with a question, we'd be happy to answer that question.
Mm-hmm. It comes down to the service.
Yeah.
We're in a service relationship business. So being able to answer the phone Saturday night, Sunday, whatever it may be, 24/7, our phones are open. And knowing that they're teaming up with a realtor loan officer duo, it's a win-win for them because all the answers are right there for them.
Yeah.
Which is great. What are some goals you set for 2025, that now that we're in the new year?
Because I'm getting married in 2026, gotta try to do double what I did last year. Just make as much as possible, save for my wedding. My fiance and I want to buy our first house and eventually start a family. Mm-hmm. What about you?
So my goal, what I set for this year, I said that I want to 5X what I did my previous year. I want to 5X it. I got to shoot for the moon and hopefully to land on a star, maybe even land on the moon.
Yeah.
But that was one goal I want to set. And also just some more social media content, getting that more organized, so people get that repetition that we're in the business, educate them as much as possible as we've been doing. 5Xing what I've done the previous year, social media, and just building more relationships.
Yeah.
Because we're in that relationship business.
It's all about the relationships.
Big time. And the more relationships we build, the more social media posts that we post, the more people are going to know that we're in the business. That's why we're here today.
Yeah.
Right? We're filming this content. We're filming this content today simply to let people know that we're serious about what we do. We're passionate. We're motivated. That's why we're taking the time today to let them know what we're doing.
Yeah, because the people that don't know that we do this would be pleasantly surprised to know how knowledgeable and good we are at what we do.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the whole reason for today, just so they could actually understand our personality, understand who we are, our tonality, and how much we care about what we do. Because if we weren't here today, then it's one less post and one less repetition for somebody to know that we're in the business. So
exactly. And another thing about it, I think, is just having the knowledge of the business. Like, over the past 5 years of me doing this, I know a lot. I obviously don't know everything, but if there's ever something I don't know, I have a team of underwriters and VPs that will have the answer to that question.
And that's the one thing I could say about myself is if, that's actually a goal is to just get more knowledgeable in the business. You learn something new every day. And you may not know the answer, and you definitely don't want to say the wrong answer to your client. You rather say, hey, truthfully, I don't know the answer, but I will find out for you because it's not just me. You're working with myself and my broker and other agents that are with me at that office.
Yeah, it's always better to say you don't know and you'll find out than say the wrong answer.
Oh, yeah, because then that's a double no.
Yeah.
You lied, it's because you said you knew it, and then secondly, you put them in the wrong position.
Yeah. Yeah, that could lose you a deal. So, Joe, when you take one of our clients to make an offer that's pre-approved, what steps do you take to make sure they have the best shot of getting an accepted offer?
So first thing I would say with that, just to say, you're going to a property, buyers love it, obsessed with it. The first initial standpoint being a realtor like myself would be, you got to put out the offer right away. If you're one of the first offers, once you get home to submit it, that's already putting them ahead of anybody else who took the time to go home, be lackadaisy, and they're not getting the offer in. But also, you need to strategize how you're going to put out the offer. So that being said, depending how much money they're putting down, we do that, submit it in the offer. But also, there's something we could do as far as we could waive a home inspection, which I don't recommend. You still want to do a home inspection, but these are things you could do. Another example would be waiving the appraisal gap. So just to say the appraisal came in a little bit low, and there's a gap of maybe $10,000 to $20,000, you could waive that. So in the seller's eyes, it actually looks a little better, regardless of what the appraisal is, that the buyer is still willing to pay that gap.
Yeah.
Which is one or two things that you could do to help get your offer in there. But I would say just urgency, get the offer in right away, and speaking over with your clients how we're going to strategize to get that offer in. Those are very important. So doing that is huge.
Tell me about how you got that accepted offer for Marissa and Val, because I know that was a really competitive area.
Oh, yeah. So it's actually funny you say that because the seller, we saw the property, and I told Marissa and Val that I'm going to get this offer in as soon as we leave. I went home. Actually, I went to my office, and I submitted the offer. He got back to me the next day, and he had other offers come in. But since he committed to us already, accepted our offer, he went with us because that's how quick I got the offer in.
Wow, that was a for sale by owner, right? For
sale by owner. And that was a great deal for them. They're happy now. They've done so many updatings to the property. It's been almost a year actually coming up since they moved in the property.
It's been something like that, and the house is worth at least $50,000 more now in less than a year.
Big time.
That's why in this market, in this area, you got to buy now because the housing prices are always going up.
There's only so much real estate land.
Yeah.
So you really can't go wrong purchasing real estate if that's what you're looking to do long term. Or even now, if your motive is to do it now, it's always, I would say, it's a buying season. It's always a buying season. If it makes sense financially and it doesn't cripple you financially, do it. Do it.
Yeah.
Don't wait because, like you said, prices are probably going to keep going up. So.
Yeah, they haven't went down in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're looking to become an investor, it's always a good time because you could get that rental income to cover the mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're just building equity every month.
Mm-hmm. And maybe, New York isn't the only place, you want to purchase a real estate property. Maybe you want to be an investor, like you said, out of the state, And maybe that property could be helping you pay your mortgage in New York because maybe you have family, friends here, you don't want to leave. But maybe you become an investor in a different state.
It's true, and I'm licensed in New York, Florida, North Carolina, and my company's licensed in 30 states, so I'm always helping people all over the country.
So whatever it may be, even though you're living in New York and you want to purchase a property in another state, you'll be able to help them.
Yeah, of course. As long as it's one of the 30 states Meadowbrook is licensed in, but we're licensed in most states.
That's great to know. That's great to know. That's awesome. So yeah, I mean, anytime I'm speaking with clients, the first questions I'm asking them is if they've been pre-approved before. I send them your way. I know they're in good hands. So Dylan, why don't you tell me a little bit about some investor programs that people could take advantage of and self-employed people?
So for real estate investors, DSCR is a great program because you actually don't need to show any income to qualify. It would go based off of the market rent value. So just for example, say the mortgage is $3,000 a month. They would do an appraisal, not only just the value, but also what you would get for the market rent. And as long as that market rent came in as $3,000 to cover the mortgage, you're good to go.
That's neat.
And those could close in even 2 weeks. I've closed some of them in 2 weeks.
Okay. And is there a certain requirement that they have to put down or?
Yeah, it's not the easiest loan to qualify for, but we do first-time investors. We have some options for them. It's always better to have experience already, but if you're looking to get your foot in the door, we do offer stuff for first-time investors. Credit score is usually like a 660 minimum, and you typically got to put down 20 to 25%.
So it's definitely another avenue for an investor that, based off of the rental income, it sounds like, or the market rental income, they can get approved for a property, which is awesome.
Yeah, if you're serious about becoming a real estate investor, that's probably a product you should get to know.
And why don't we talk, since we're on this topic, why don't we talk a little bit about the programs for a fix and flip, or what's that program to where a buyer could fix up the property? What is it?
A rehab loan.
A rehab loan. Why don't we talk about a rehab loan for, our guest today?
Yeah, so there's actually multiple kinds of rehab loans that we could offer. There's one through conventional, it's called the home style, and there's one through the FHA. That's called the FHA 203K loan. And those loans actually work for a purchase and a refinance. So it gives either the homeowner or the buyer the ability to do the work on the home and either purchase or refinance in one loan.
Oh, wow, that's neat. So it allows a buyer to just say they look at a property, it's distressed, there's some problems going on with it. It allows them to pretty much take out a little bit bigger loan. They close on the property, and they could actually get funds from the loan to fix up the property and go about their ways with that. Okay.
Yeah, and it's a longer process than just buying a home that's already ready to be moved into. But if they're looking to buy a distressed house and fix it up, that's definitely the best option to go.
So since we're on this topic right now of just working with buyers, because personally right now I've been working with buyers a lot, and I want to get more on the listing side, but it's okay because a buyer today could be a seller tomorrow, and vice versa. It could work both ways. So first initial meet with a buyer, probably going to be a phone conversation, maybe not, but I always recommend to at least, I like to have them come into the office. I like them to come in, we speak it out, and I just ask them questions. What's their motive? Where do you live? Why is it that you want to purchase a property? Just giving them that experience of not just automated. Everything's automated on the phones and the email. Just come sit down, sit in the office. We find out what it is you're looking to do. I'd like them to speak with you at least first, so I know they're pre-approved. I know the numbers.
Yeah, you know what to work with.
That's important. I have them speak with you first, and then they'll come into the office. I really dive into what their needs are. What are their wants? Can they live without a pool, or is it I need the pool? Because then those are two different things. Or the garage, I need the garage because maybe he's a mechanic.
Yeah.
Needs the garage because he wants to do work for maybe that's the reason why, or they need a basement. But that's where you come in and sit down with me. I'm able to really narrow down what it is, the needs versus the wants.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't want to waste your time. You don't want to waste their time. You don't want them to be looking at $2 million houses when they only qualify for $1 million.
Mm-hmm. Correct. And just knowing, that I always say that if you were to find the perfect property today and you're pre-approved, would you take the next steps moving forward with it?
Yeah.
It's a big question. Would you, or are you kind of just window shopping? And that's where we just narrow it down and we really find out this is what they're looking to do. and the rest is history, So it's important with that.
Yeah, of course, because you want to make sure they're comfortable with the home they're getting.
No, totally. I mean, of course we're going to go over the numbers, but from my experience working with buyers, when they walk in the property, of course there's going to be the numbers that's going to be up here. You're going to know the numbers, but when you walk into the property, do you love it? Do you see yourself raising a family here?
Yeah.
Do you see yourself living here, waking up every single day? I said, that's the number one question I need you to answer. And then, of course, the numbers are, they're tagging along right there. Of course, you find something you love. Oh my God, I want it, but do the numbers line up? If you love it, the numbers line up, we do it, full send. So that's the first question I'm going to ask. Do you love the property? That's most important, right?
If you love the property and the numbers work, you should definitely always make an offer.
100%. If the numbers make sense, that's the two main things. You love it, yes, I want to do it, the numbers make sense, and it's not going to hurt yourself financially, that's the answer right there, simply put.
Yeah.
So that's why it's nice knowing that. And I do love the business because it's a big transaction for people, right? It's one of their big investments, you'd say, right?
Yeah.
So having two guys like ourselves, professionals that are what we do, being able to lead them in the right direction and simply working in their best interest, negotiating on their behalf, it's very important because if you walk into a property and you see that listing agent standing there, that listing agent, they work for the seller. So they're not working in your best interest.
Yeah, they're working in the seller's best interest.
So of course that person's going to tell you, yeah, you should buy the property. It's like going into Macy's, you try on a cologne. What are they going to tell you? You smell great.
Well, first they're probably going to spray you in your eye.
Maybe that, maybe that. But it's like you want somebody that's on your side of the ring that's going to say, I don't know if this is really for you.
Yeah.
Unless, you know what I mean? So you got to love it at the end of the day, and having that representation, a buyer rep, and having the loan officer go with it, that tag team duo, super important. Super important.
And like you said, this is probably the biggest and most important purchase that a person could make in their entire life. Mm-hmm. They want to work with people that they could trust, not people that are just saying buy, buy, buy.
Yeah, and working with myself and yourself, we're in a relationship business to where once you make this purchase, Joe's not just going to vanish for the rest of your life. Joe and Dylan are going to be a part of your life forever. This is a long-term relationship to where I'm checking in on you after a month, probably quarterly. Is everything all right at the house? Do you need anything? Anything I could do for you? Simple check-ins like that go a long way because I'm not looking to be the agent that I close you one deal and Joe's gone. Where's Joe? Yeah. I never heard from Joe.
We're not looking for no hit and runs.
We're not doing
no one-night stands here.
No hit and runs for sure, but that's what I'm focusing on that. That's big time. The relationship and staying in touch with our clients because you want them to be your referral business.
Yeah, of course. And I do the same thing. I have a spreadsheet of all my clients that I've closed, and I am always following up with them when I see rates getting lower. I'm always looking out to see if it's time for them to refinance. Because a lot of people in the past few years took really high rates. 7s, 8s, even some 9s if they're, self-employed. Mm-hmm. So now when these rates come down, I reach out to them and try to save them some money every month.
Mm-hmm. No, it's important. Just getting back in touch with them.
Yeah.
Joe and Dylan are back in touch with our clients, and I'll always do that. That's why we stay connected on social media with our past clients, and we want them to refer us business because of the service that we provided, the care, and just simply put, I get back to just working in their interest, like number one, because I want to make sure when they walk into a property or they want to sell a property that they're just okay with that decision that they make.
Yeah, because it's a big decision.
1,000%. And on the listing side, I guess let's talk about listings now because why not? That's the game I want to be in. So selling properties, some things that I invest in was it's a 3D virtual tour. So now you're able to actually, us sitting here, somebody out of the country, different state, they want to view a property rather than just see images, which are still very important. I always do professional photography. But a 3D virtual tour, you take the virtual tour step by step throughout the whole house to where you're seeing it digitally.
Yeah, I've actually seen that before on Zillow. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it allows somebody to walk through the property without actually having to walk through the property physically, which I find that to be important because just say you're a buyer, you want buyers that are going there that like, oh my God, I saw the property already. I walked through it. I want to put out an offer, not somebody to come to the property who actually hasn't done the walkthrough yet.
Yeah, because pictures don't always do it justice.
And saving that step saves time, also saves money. One more month on the market costs you another month of a mortgage.
Yeah.
More taxes,
Or rent.
insurance, whatever it may be. That's why fair market value, property priced at, this is what I think we should be asking. And the asking price isn't necessarily what you're going to get in your pocket. The asking price is to market the property correctly. Pricing strategy. It's super important because if you're priced too high, property will sit a bit. Priced too low, I mean, the market will, for the most part, it should raise it up from buyers if you still are priced too low. But you want to be in that median where you're having people come in, but most importantly, offers on the table. Because I don't list properties, I sell properties. You know, I'm not here to just list your property, I'm here to sell your property and get you to the next step.
Yeah.
So, and that's where we'll tag team some open houses, right?
Yeah, we've done a bunch in the past.
We'll tag team, you know, so just say somebody comes in, not working with the loan officer, you're there. Hey, you know, let's talk about these steps because technically right now you can't purchase the property because you haven't gone through the pre-approval process. And this is what the seller is looking for.
Yeah, when we're working open houses, I usually always have like folders with my different loan options we could offer. So if they're self-employed, if they're an investor, if they're first-time home buyers, they know exactly what they're getting themselves into.
Mm-hmm. And having you there for them to just answer those questions. Oh, I don't know where to start. That's why I always like having a loan officer like yourself at my open houses, and which is huge. Oh yeah, so Dylan, talk to me. How are we going to get more business for this year, 2025?
Well, as you said before, we partnered on these Zillow leads, which I think is a good opportunity to speak with some potential clients that we wouldn't have had the chance to speak with without those leads. Also door knocking, trying to get listings for you.
All right, so Dylan, talk to me. What are some programs that you offer for self-employed people?
So there's a few. You know, most people think just because they don't claim enough money on their tax returns as self-employed borrowers that they can't qualify, but there's multiple options out there for them. You got bank statement programs, which the way that works is it would go by the monthly deposits in their latest year of bank statements. So say they're doing $20,000 a month every month. That's what it averages out for say 2024. Typically, unless you have a CPA letter that says otherwise, that would be cut in half because usually there's 50% business expense. But still, say they were doing $20,000, that's still $10,000 a month worth of income, you know?
Okay. So if somebody were to change their job middle of the year, what do they do?
It depends, because typically all we really need is 2 years work history.
Okay.
But especially if it's in the same industry, if it's in the same industry, you're fine, you know?
Okay.
Some people that I worked with recently, they were in the same industry for 10 years and they switched their job just to a different job in the same industry, and they were worried that they weren't going to be pre-approved anymore. But I said that's not a problem.
Okay.
As long as you're, you know, if you've been a nurse for 10 years and you go from Long Island Jewish to Northwell, that's not a problem.
Okay.
But say, you know, if you're a nurse for 10 years and you go to a completely different job where you're making less money, then something like that could be an issue.
And what would you have to collect? Just maybe the 2 most recent pay stubs to kind of see what they could be making annually?
Yeah, because then in that case, you wouldn't need the W-2 because they wouldn't have that, but you would get the latest 1 month of pay stubs, and then you could calculate based on the year to date what they would be making. You know what just popped in my mind? What makes it easier for a seller to work with you as opposed to selling their property on their own, doing like a for sale by owner?
Great question. So a for sale by owner, statistically, they're going to net less in their pocket bottom line than working with the agent like myself. I focus on the pricing strategy, the marketing strategy, and to make sure we get qualified buyers in the property, but not only that, offers on the table. I also make sure that having a strong negotiator like myself, I like to make sure that after fees are paid, what is your net bottom line in your pocket after working with an agent like myself, what you're going to take home. But it comes down most importantly to the pricing strategy and the marketing strategy. You have to trust your realtor to price a property, certainly to get that fair market value, so you have buyers walking in the door. And as far as the marketing strategy goes, I do tailored campaigns on Facebook, Instagram, Google, in those areas to make sure all buyers in the area that are interested in that area, oh, this property just came for sale. I door knock the neighbors and let them know that, hey, there's a property for sale. We have an open house coming up next week. To go even further, I'll actually even call. If they don't answer the door knock, I'm going to call them on the phone, say, hey, I'm selling a property down the road. Do you actually have a relative or a family friend that wants to purchase the property? And then besides that, we're going to expose it on all the platforms. Zillow, I mentioned the Facebook already, but really the pricing strategy, marketing strategy. We spoke a little bit about the 3D virtual tours because somebody in a different state gets access to walk through the property. That doing those virtual tours on average actually increase the price of the home, professional public remarks, and even professional staging if it's needed. So that's what I focus on and why you should work with an agent, because statistically, I'm able to get you more money in your pocket, and we all like more money in our pocket, don't we?
Of course. That's true. Now I know when I sell my home, I know I'm not doing for sale by owner. I'm going to call you.
That's right. That's right. So we want to touch base a little bit about, where we see ourselves in maybe a year from now, 5 years from now, but let's tackle, where do we see ourselves 5 years in this business?
5 years from now. It's a long time away, but
so now we're talking 2030.
2030, wow.
2030.
Getting old. But no, in 5 years from now, business-wise, I see myself running my own team, having a bunch of guys under me and training them, doing at least 5 times what I'm doing right now between myself and my team. And personally, I'll be married by then. Hopefully I have a few rugrats running around.
Nice.
Got one German Shepherd now. Maybe I'll have a few more of those too.
Nice.
What about you?
Nice. So, yeah, 5 years from now, like you said, it's wow. To even think about that, it's pretty, it's in depth to think about. But since we are in this game, we know this industry, I should say rather, we know what's going on in the market, and we know New York, we know prices. Maybe have a few properties somewhere else, maybe in a different state, to where maybe that money is helping us afford up here, because it's definitely more pricey up here to afford homes. In different states, prices are a little bit lower, and you see what you're getting, you're like, holy moly. But have a few investor properties, to where that money's coming in and it's helping us pay up here. And in this business, I would say either be a team leader where I have a few other agents, at least I would say under me. I kind of refer to as with me, because, as a team leader, they're with you. And maybe even become a broker, potentially, conduct my own business and, really recruit other agents to be like ourselves. Yeah. And personal life, maybe married in the future, having some kids, having my own house to where, walking in, this is mine. That's what I want. Continuing to do the hobbies I enjoy doing, because even through thick and thin, you got to enjoy life, have fun. And that's probably it for the most part, 5 years from now. I would say that.
Yeah, well, I think those are all great things. To touch back on what you were saying about investing in other states, I think that's another pro of talking with you, because you could even tell the buyers like what areas are hot and what areas could generate a good investment, either long-term or short-term. I actually did that myself in North Carolina. I bought a property a few years ago for $500,000. Now it's on the market for $7 million.
Incredible. That's almost a $200,000 profit right there.
It's not just New York. We're knowledgeable all across the country.
And that's what I think, honestly, clients out there are going to want to see, that what have you done in the business for them to trust in you, whether it's helping them find a home, sell a home, or I want to buy an investor property. And if we've done that, which we've tackled selling properties, helping people buy properties, if we even tackle investment properties, they're going to trust in us and even more and get into that market, helping out investors. So if we could tackle each lane, we're going to do great in this business. No doubt about it.
Yeah, and those investors are actually some of my favorite people to work with, just because the home buying process is usually really smooth with the DSCR loans.
And they're more, I would say, I won't say cutthroat. They're more just, what are the numbers? What can I get for rent? And let's do it. How much is it going to cost me to fix up the property and just get in there? If the numbers make sense, they're going to do it. They're not really getting that attachment as a first-time home buyer.
Yeah,
or a seller.
They've been around the block before. They know how it works.
Yeah, or a seller before leaving a home they've been living in for the last 15 to maybe 30 plus years, or a buyer purchasing their first dream home. So that's being able to walk them through the process and them trusting in us. The sky's the limit. The sky's the limit.
And really every home you're buying, whether it's your 10th investment property or even your first home, it's still an investment. Because, over time you're building equity in that home. And
very true. Very true. On average, homes increase, they appreciate, and there's some upside to having a home. There is some tax advantages. You'd want to speak to an accountant in regards to that. There is some advantages that you could do having a home, but it just gets back to, if in your situation that's what you want to do and the numbers make sense, go for it. Go for it.
And I always tell my clients that I speak with that it's always better to own your own home and pay a mortgage versus paying rent. Because when you're paying rent, you're just throwing that money away. It's not going anywhere. When you're paying your mortgage every month, you're building equity. So you could either sell that home years to come and you can make a big profit on it. You could even refi, because now you have all this equity in the property. You could take cash out of that property and buy another property, maybe an investment property, second home.
I want to get in the game myself, and for anyone else who wants to get into the real estate game, you know who to call. Myself, Dylan. Today's been awesome. This has been great. We're conducting strategies. We're talking it over, letting our audience know, our client base know that we're serious about the business. Looking forward to this year.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one. It's great talking with you, Joe.
Oh, yeah.
I'll see you on the golf course. Yes, you're driving.